on the couch, up and going, but I would like to introduce you to our facilitator tonight, Keisha Bracey. Let's give a round of applause for Keisha Bracey. Keisha is the lead here, and we're excited to have her on the couch as well. So you're in good hands tonight, and let's learn all about all these amazing artists in the room tonight. So let's get started. Also, we ask that each time we switch out with the next artist, let's give a round of applause. We're going to clap them in, okay? That sound good? Yeah. All right, cool beans. So first up is Don Stevens.
Thank you, Crystal. Yes. Hi, Don. How are you?
I'm all right. I need to use the mic.
Yeah, use the mic so we can
I'm
hear
normally
you.
talking loud to people anyway. So how's everybody doing? Is Michael there?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's a privilege to be on the couch with you, Don.
Hey, all right.
Certainly the art gallery, the community art gallery is familiar with your pieces. This is your second tour with us, is that right?
Yes, second tour. Right.
So we're glad to have you back with us, and let's get started.
Hey,
you ready? Let's do this.
Ready.
All right, it's a vibe. It's a good background here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your journey and your background. I'm sure our special guests would like to know a little bit more about you. So my first question, Don, for you is, can you share a little bit about the journey into art and what first inspired you?
Okay, that's a compound question right
Yes,
there.
it is.
I'll get it out of the way, trust you me. Well, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, everybody. So I'm from, I would just say East New York or East Flatbush at that point. Born 1969, you know what I mean? So the journey started early. From what I can remember, it started around about 4, maybe 5. Now the reason why I can remember it is because if some of you remember, there used to be specials that would come on, and the Peanuts was one that used to come on all the time. And you remember the Red Baron scene with Snoopy? Yeah, something happened. Turned me on. So I just jumped up. I had the Superman Fruit of the Looms on, and I'm started saying, you know, the scene where he's on the house doing the Baron scene. So I'm like jumping up and down, and I'm drawing in front of a black and white TV. I'm drawing, and then I run into the kitchen. My mom's in the kitchen. So Saturday morning, she's cooking the omelets, the pancakes. She's on the phone, got the cord wrapped around her. This is mid-70s now. Everybody got to understand, you know. And all of a sudden, the challenge came from my mother, my matriarch. She looked at the page. She said, "Hold on, girl," on the phone. "Hold on. You ain't do that." I said, "What do you mean I didn't do? I did that. What do you do another one?"
There you go. Prove yourself.
So I went right back, and the scene was still on, and I was in a few rooms. I did the dance, crown, we're back in the kitchen. "Okay, girl, I gotta get off the phone." Click, because I showed her something. I made sense for the first time to somebody. And then from that point on, I just been turned out. Now the journey goes from there to having to be the #1 kid from K through 8 to be #1 in the classroom for art.
Beautiful.
So, no, I took it serious. It was a battle. Sometimes some kids came very close, but I still etched it out. Now then that's when it comes down to Art Design High School in New York City. My mother and my aunt, who was one of my earlier mentors, Annie Mosley, she was able with my mother, and they saw how the talent was going. It was like, wow, what are we gonna do with them? It's the 80s coming up, what's going on? So basically they pointed, my aunt said she was going to NYU, she pointed and said, "Oh, Art Design High School." But they knew I wasn't going to do the fame thing, because I wasn't going to put on tights. I wasn't going to be Leroy. So if you know Fame and you know Leroy, the character Leroy, I would have probably fit in that category, but I was not going to wear tights. It's not going to happen.
It wasn't for you.
No, that aspect of it. I was always visual. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it was. And then I would ride the back and forth trains and things like that. It's a lot, Then I made it down here because I graduated in '87 from Art Design High School. So when I was graduating, if you recall the history of it, that's the crack era. It was real big. So this is younger Don. This is not the Don that's sitting in front of you now. This is younger Don, baby face, no hair face, nothing like that. Fully engaged and ready to be part of something. So my mother was like, nah. We're gonna go to South Jersey with my sister, and you're gonna, do it from whatever you're gonna do it from Willingboro in suburbia, Burlington County, New Jersey. So then that's when I did the Marine Corps. I did a lot of different things, you know what I mean? Just trying to figure out what this was going to be, because I knew I wasn't gonna do nothing else from forward on but art, creating. So that's why one of my sayings is keep creating.
Right.
Because that's the whole thing. Your whole essence is creativity. You as a human, it's your right to create. So why not do it?
So let's talk a little bit more about your creativity.
Sure, no problem.
We have some things going on behind us. What influenced your style of art?
Well, see, that's where like most of that journey I'm telling you about is sitting on the back of the train. It's every day. Before I even encountered what an impressionist was, I was already intrigued with the everyday. I was part of the graffiti scene, but my mama wouldn't let me go out. I had one of those mamas. So I couldn't go out and really take hold of the graffiti scene, so I would do it in memory books and things like that. But all that stuff stayed with me, how you would look about your everyday. You would see people, conversations like this conversation, or people's eye contact and things like this. I will function through that.
Be inspired.
Yeah, because it's of the everyday for me. Right. It's not just, let me think of this moment and do. No, I illustrate too as well. So, I independently illustrate. I do paintings like how you see, but then I do portraits, I'll do logos, I'll do these type of things, because this is based upon training at that point. So all these schools that I went to, I still had all that training, but I wanted to do paintings. I wanted to deal with my heart, my soul, my spirit. But you have to make a living. So in making that living, that's why I instruct.
So let's talk about creative process and work.
Yes.
So what usually sparks a new piece for you? The concept, the feeling, the materials, and you talk about painting.
Once again, I have to go back to the everyday.
Okay.
Now, when you're talking about material, I'm more so like an illustrator painter at that point.
Okay.
So it depends upon what the task is at that moment. If it's a private work that I'm working on, like piano grooves here, that I did do the October gallery, yeah, I'm thinking with a certain mission at that point. What do I want the colors to look like? So yeah, I'm gonna do it in oil, I'm gonna do it in acrylic, I'm gonna do it in things that are more vibrant to attract a human being. Because that's ultimately what I'm doing these pieces for. To attract you guys' eyes and spirits and things like this, to evoke your pockets to talk to you. It's the honest thing, your purse, your bank account, your email, your Venmo, I have to touch you to touch that, so,
Is there a particular piece that speaks just to you personally?
Well, see, I have the charcoal drawings on display, and you see some of the charcoal drawings coming up. So then I'm mainly somebody that functions from drawing, because it's just like from when I told you that whole big diatribe about me looking at the peanuts. Like drawing has always been everything. So with my mother working, Citibank, office jobs, things like that, I was getting pens, pencils, the everyday thing to draw with, and the pen was the favorite thing, or a pencil or a crown. So drawing to me, those formalities is everything. So it's based upon that realization of the tangibilities of the everyday, and then using structural formality or figurative-based movements like I can see here and some of the other ones that's flipping through. And then I get bored real fast. So I have several different things I'll go through. So what you're seeing behind me and what you're seeing here, you may see some different things. With the ones here, this charcoal is the bigger one. That's twin spirits, and then the one next to it is called hexahedron, the box. so that you can see how I'm dealing with the everyday there.
Yeah.
Because the hexahedron is nothing more than a box, and everybody functions from their own box. And if you hear it on the news and things, people will say, oh, you're in an economic bubble, but you're in an emotional and spiritual box. So I like to deal with those type of things in society sometimes, the things that are unspoken but spoken about. You know, that unspoken but written but unwritten social book that we all have to function through to be part of what we call society.
And that's the beauty of art.
And that's the intrigue to me of the everyday, because I was a nosy kid and I'm a nosy person now at 56. So, you know, I can't help it. I'm looking. You may say something to me tonight. Your smile may intrigue me to do just a
I might be
page.
his next course.
Yeah, you might be in there, honestly, you know. So that's truly, everyone, how I function from the everyday idea. Do I project forward with some pieces? Yes. But if I don't need to, I don't have to. I deal with the everyday. It's just more fun. Bus trip in Scepter. That's why I got my bike, because my deductible went up too high because I was having all these fender benders from looking at the skyline, looking at somebody at the bus stop. You know what I mean? Seeing somebody with colorful hair, and now you're looking and you're driving. And it's not. I'm not ramming into them, but just that little tap goes up 500 every time.
Now would you be careful on that bike too?
And yeah, well, no, I'm careful, but I just stop now. So now, you know, I'm getting the weight together with the bike ride, and I get to get more food and stuff for everybody. All that goes into my
I
artwork,
love it.
honestly.
Let's talk about music. You and I had some previous conversations earlier today about music, right?
Music is number
And your
one.
vibe, right? So we're listening to some of your favorite songs today.
Mhm.
Why did you choose these tracks? How did it influence you?
Because I was going, all right, see, my experiences, my journey, that's why I call it my journey. It's still continuing. But everywhere I went, there was songs that I would just play that just came to be. I would be walking downtown and I would hear something near the Clef Club, and I would just go in and I just start asking questions. Y'all see me, I'm animated already, so imagine me younger approaching you and being full of zeal and asking all these questions because I may know something that you know but need more information. So I'm going in with that youthful zeal and I'm asking questions like that. I went to 3rd Street Jazz, things like this. Ortleys Jazz Club. What's the one that used to be underneath the hotel?
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar Blue. I used to go there and I used to be one of the artists that would sketch in the background. You see, I got a lot of things that I did. Like, I never really did regular jobs. Like, I did IKEA, Coca-Cola, but then I would a lot of times be out on the street doing sketches.
Being amongst the people.
Yeah, or I would be at Great Adventure when I was younger, and I was the guy that would be doing the airbrushing. You
Okay.
see?
Yes.
I would be at certain fairs and things, and I would be the guy doing caricatures. Because I learned from the street guys on West 4th Street and West 8th Street. See, I got a lot that molds into what Don does, and that's why I just put it into my journey, because it's always flipping and turning. The materials, I go anything from clay all the way through to oils, watercolors, crayons, mixing those together, ceramics. But I'm more so like, for my personal work, I may not do all those materials. But if I'm trying to petition for a commission, then I have those skills, I'll use them. So that's where I separate. And also, I teach, I independent teach. I figured that out at Tyler.
Okay.
So when I went to Tyler, I bumped into a gentleman named John Dow, a couple of other, professors that was there. But they intrigued me because they knew the terrain, the playing board that we gotta go by. But nobody at those points were explaining how do you, as an artisan or a creative, go to the marketplace? How do you strategize? Is an LLC for you or not? Is it just independent? Or do you do I-9s? Or what's a 1099? And all this good stuff, Do I set myself up as a small business? Or do I set it up off of my social security number? All these different things. How do I get a storefront? How do I get a studio space like I got out in Kensington at the Loom, so you can see that type of stuff, everybody. So I'm really a traditional artist revamping those traditional ways that they said that you had to live.
Right.
And then looking amongst the terrain and saying, okay, That's why I bring up John Dowell, because he was the first one to bring up the concepts of going to the municipalities, follow the money. Oh, I never thought about that, because I'm thinking young and free. Let me just go and oh, you want a piece of artwork? Okay, I'll do it for you, all right. Make up an erroneous price, not based upon nothing.
Right.
But all these things started to come in. So now, as a man that's coming out of the Marine Corps and doing certain things, how do I survive as a creative? Just as a being creative, I want to be jovial. How do I keep that going? So everything goes into that to understand that journey.
And you've learned it, and that's commendable to share that, right? With the next generation upcoming.
Yeah, because a lot of people will tell you they don't know what to do with a degree. Well, you can do a lot with a degree. You can go, like, for instance, with me. Say, for instance, you don't know exactly what you want to do, and it's not in the arts. Okay, whatever your degree is in. Most people don't know that they can go to the municipality of any state, any township or county, put your degree that's accredited online, and say, hey, do you have any need in your teaching corps? They'll give you an emergency certification. I see stunned faces out there, like, what? Yeah, for real. And then all you're doing is they're paying for you to go to school, and you already got the position, so you can get the degree or the certification that's needed. Now, the only thing they don't do it in is art therapy. So with art therapy, it's just the experience. So I went to all the places where people don't want to go. The prison programs and the halfway houses and things like this, where you can get in, do these art classes with the community, get to understand the psychosis, the psychology, on how to be with somebody to use art to bring them out from 8 to 80. So I've been lucky enough to be able to formulate off that without too much interplay from a teaching college, just hands-on, going to get the position. Then when you get the position, you sit in front of the psychologist like this, and you debate back and forth. But then I always would win. Why? Because my experience with that particular customer would stand out. How did you get him to do this? It's got to be 10 toes in there and be willing to look at that wiggly line and say, oh, you're very aggressive today. And you didn't use blue. You really wanted me to see that you was aggressive. You got red. Oh man, all right, okay. What's the problem?
Well, you certainly shared your talents with everyone, and I have one final question for you.
Sure, no
All right.
There's a lot more, so you guys, before we go to that,
sure.
a lot of times, like, I'm using the new technology, so they didn't come up on the screen, but QR codes and things like that, so if your videos is going, I'll be on there, and then you can scan this too as well and get my information, connected. It's that new dot card thing, you know what I mean? So all the information is on here. There's other things too as well. Like I teach through the Department of, the Organization of Aging for Philadelphia, through all their umbrella centers, adjudicated youth once again, substitute teach, and then do everything at the second tier, which would be art centers and things like that, Manioc, Boxborough, all the different art centers on the whole tri-state area. So started off in Jersey, Pennsylvania, and do things in Delaware, so try to touch everything.
So you all make sure you check them out and scan that QR code. Last question, what do you hope people will take away when they experience your artwork? What do you want them to walk away with?
The artwork now. The artwork, yeah, walk away with the artwork. But no, if you're talking about knowing me and the artist, the artist doing the work, just know that not all artists, how would you say, stepped away from a traditional idea. Know that I've used my life as a creative force that you all see around me. So it's always continuing, it's never ending, it won't stop until I go horizontal. Just like Norman Rockwell did the painting of him from the bassinet all the way through to the casket. Well, these are the type of guys that I talk to and learn from, and I appreciate these guys. So my father may not have said these things to me, but my mom put me around good people, and I was able to make good picks, even crackheads that gave me good things to say. So I look at it like that. Life is an experience, enjoy it, keep creating, use all the elements around you. And that's what I do. So please get to know the life around you. Look at the sky, look at the ground, and then do what the song says, move your body. This is one of my songs that I picked. So I can't stop smiling because you guys don't know what that song represents. So I can keep going on. I got so much I can say, but we gotta let the other artists come on, and I appreciate everyone for coming out.
Thanks for
And I
sharing
thank
your
you.
words.
No
Yes.
problem. If you have any questions, fire away or ask me after we talk to the other ladies, however you want to do it, everybody.